Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I'm driving home on my way home from work today. Last night, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I sat down and I had Monday Night Raw on right at 5/8 o'clock. I saw the open to Raw. It had honestly been so long that I've watched Monday Night Raw from the open. I didn't even know what the theme song was, and honestly thought it was somebody coming out to the ring to immediately kick off the show. I'll tell you the truth, I probably watched close to about the first hour. I really didn't know a lot of the guys that were in that tag team scramble, trying to find the #1 contendership. You know, congratulations to the Creed brothers. I'd never seen them before in my life. I know nothing about them. Honestly thought they were geeks when they first came out to the ring. Kind of won me over. Pretty, you know, one guy's name is Brutus, but I mean, like, some brutes out there, some guys that just really want to put the beat down on somebody, almost like they were like real wrestlers. I don't know if that's what their gimmick was, but it kind of reminds me of something like that from like back in the day. But you know, Cody Rhodes came out, got attacked by Shinsuke Nakamura, and at that point I was like, well, I guess I'm out, and I'll come back at the end. I can honestly tell you that I probably missed the next hour and just over an hour and a half, because I think I came back to Raw about like 8:40/11:40, however you are in the on the globe. I will say that it does really come in clutch. I'm glad that I know now that with the USA app, you can log in. Like, I log into YouTube TV, it lets it know that yes, you have a USA, even though YouTube TV doesn't let you watch the East Coast, West Coast versions. You can on there. They still have commercials and all that jazz, but I think that's pretty damn cool. Why they don't let you have that, I don't know. I remember back in the day when I had Comcast, one day I had it, and the next day they took them all away. It used to be like channel 1 was East, and then channel 2 was West. I don't know. I used to be able to watch a lot of Impact and Raw and stuff like that. Other than that, it's too damn late. I know that the people on the East Coast will say it makes no sense because they have to do it. But for people on the West Coast, like, when football's on the East Coast, it's on the West Coast. They don't have it on like a delay, to where after I've already known everything that's gonna happen, I have to sit down and try and get through it when you already know what's gonna happen. It just doesn't make sense. They need to treat it like it's. This is not gonna make any sense, but they need to treat it like it's a real sport. I'll tell you this much: CM Punk came out and had a little bit of energy. I was pretty pumped. Like, I wonder what he's gonna say. We've already seen Cody. We've already seen Randy. We've already seen Seth. It's not like we're gonna have any like sort of like a face-to-face, but will he call anybody out? Definitely, we saw everybody else kind of mention him and his comeback, and you know, people wanted to hear what people had to say about it. But the second he made the joke about exactly what did he say? He made the joke about the Predator fans cheering a Blackhawks fan, which is a hockey and NHL joke. I know that much. I don't know the back behind it. Maybe they played in the finals one time, something like that. I'm not really 100% sure if they're like big blood rivals, but the second he made that joke, I think the crowd booed him for a second, and what he had, he lost. And I kind of sat the rest of the promo being like, what are we doing here? And then he was kind of going down this road saying that he changed, and I immediately had this feeling on myself like, just say you're sorry. That's all you gotta do. Just say you're sorry and like basically all will be forgiven. I in my mind, I feel like it's been 10 years, but they kept saying 8 years. But we're coming up to WrestleMania 40. He left right before WrestleMania 30. So, I don't know. In my mind, that's 10 years. But, like, what would have happened with wrestling if CM Punk would have stayed? Not if he would have gotten all that he wanted. And the reason why he left is he wasn't getting that or he was mistreated. But what if he would have found a way to work it out and just be a guy? Maybe he could have took a sabbatical like Jericho did. Maybe he could have got to a point where he said, hey, I'm not having a lot of fun. Give me some time off, and then when I come back, I'm fresh. Maybe if he took like a year off or 2 years off, it wouldn't have to be so freaking long. I mean, you can definitely say when CM Punk left, he was one of the most popular wrestlers in WWE. At that point, you know, The Undertaker was still around, but he wasn't really around. Triple H was there, but he kind of like The Undertaker only wrestled like once a year. You know, Shawn Michaels had been gone. You know, we had John Cena, who was starting to fade down the card. That year he was in like a mid-card match at WrestleMania against Bray Wyatt. Daniel Bryan shot up from, you know, the mid-card to be one of the main guys. You know, Batista came back, but we all know that he was leaving. Randy Orton was just kind of like always at the top of the card. CM Punk was pretty much like the biggest star they had, even if they didn't want to treat him like he was a John Cena guy. That's just the way it was. And then when a lot of people left, that was definitely one of the times you can point, like on the bar graph of wrestling fans, when they dropped. It was kind of like when I used to watch Impact Wrestling, week in and week out. They did the storyline where AJ's contract was fixing to expire. They were all telling us he wrestled Bully Ray. He won the championship, Bound for Glory. That was kind of like a WrestleMania moment for them. And then by, like, I think that was in October, I want to say. Then, like, by December, he was out of the company. His contract had expired. They made it kind of seem like he was going to resign, but he drops the championship to Magnus. He loses the rematch against Magnus, and it's like maybe he'll take a little bit of a break and he'll come back, but then he just shows up. Like, I think he debuted like WrestleMania weekend, so like March to April, he just shows up in New Japan, and it's like, oh, I guess he's not coming back. And I just never tuned back in to Impact. Not saying that they were putting on a bad show, but it just seems like the one guy that I was rooting for, that I had a following behind, just wasn't there anymore. And it's like, why am I watching the show that I think 90% of the shit is bad, but I just don't want to miss the AJ Styles matches? For the people out there that only cared about, you know, CM Punk, you know, they were gone. And maybe they believed that, yeah, he wasn't getting treated right. He wasn't getting the shot to go after the championship like he wanted to. He didn't get to be like the WrestleMania main event guy, and maybe they felt like, yeah, he was right. But when it all comes down to it, they're not watching WWE anymore. They're not watching Impact. They're not watching ROH. I think that was all there really was at the time. Maybe they went and they found wrestling like PWG and was like, hey, it was fucking awesome. But even then, it's like, you have a show a month, you're buying it on DVD, you really don't have anything to follow. But I just wanted him to say, like, if he wants to say that he's a different guy, he's grown up. The words he used at the end of the promo, not into the microphone, but into the camera, was I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. Maybe he just could have said, I'm sorry for the people that I'll say left and abandoned. That is coming from a guy who's not a CM Punk fan. I get excited every time he comes around, and then I just don't really feel it anymore. Like, I already don't feel it now. So I apologize if if that's too strong of a word for the situation, but like for the fans that he abandoned. They wanted to cheer for him. They liked him wrestling. Maybe they watched his UFC fights, but for that it was like a year of anticipation from him announcing that he was going to fight for UFC to him finally having the match. Was the first fight against Michael Jackson, and he lost, and then it felt like forever before he fought again, and he lost that one. I'm not saying that he didn't put up a hell of a fight. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been there. We get in the octagon, he kicks my ass, flat out guaranteed. That's the way it is. But I don't know. I mean, for the people that wanted to be a fan of his, it just seems like he just kind of left him. Maybe they went and read his comic books that I'm not even really sure what he did because I'm not a comic book guy. But if he wrote them, drew them, maybe he followed them that way. But I mean, the people that wanted to be wrestling fans weren't wrestling fans anymore. I can definitely say that my buddy Mike Pico is definitely one of the biggest CM Punk fans I know. It seemed like he wasn't the same kind of fan after that point, even though he did go to his first WrestleMania the next year, WrestleMania 31. But if you look at, like my little buddy, I talk about all the time, but little buddy, I'm still calling him that, Little Alex. He lives up there in Washington. He's a college graduate. He's not that little anymore, but to me, I'll always think of him like 2010. Edge is the best one TV. When Edge retired in 2011, he was done. Like, flat out. Like, that's all I care about. That's all I wanted to see. And I'm out. Like, we've got these fans that are, Fairweather fans is a little too strong, but I mean, like, the fans that, like, maybe lapsed fans is the word you're supposed to use. Like, fans that want to come back, they want a reason to jumpstart them back in. They're just not excited like they used to be anymore. They got excited for AEW. AEW fell apart twice within a year. And now he's back in WWE, and there's got to be that feeling of, like, how long is this going to last? Like, I wonder if there's people who don't want to buy tickets too far out. Like, let's see if this lasts till WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania is sold out to the point of, like, people who want to see CM Punk couldn't even go to WrestleMania, which is good for WWE. But I mean, like, if they announce SummerSlam tickets, are you buying SummerSlam tickets going on sale thinking that CM Punk's going to be there? Or are you like, man, there's a good chance he's not going to be there by then because that's just too far down the road? I don't know. I wanted him to say sorry. There's no real direction of where they're going. It's a long time between now and the Royal Rumble. There's a good chance that there's going to be a lot of good main event matches on Monday Night Raw. I mean, they're not going to give away, I'm trying to think, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. They're not going to give us that in a real match. But, I mean, Shinsuke versus Cody seems like that's going to be a main event match. I'm guessing that Punk will wrestle on Raw between now and the Rumble. That's definitely my thought. I don't think the first time they want him getting into a ring is the Royal Rumble, which isn't even a real match. Definitely he's going to be in there and be a person that people are picking to win the Rumble. You do your thoughts right now on who's going to win the Rumble. He has to be definitely in your top 4. I was going to say Rollins, Punk, Cody. I wonder if you can even pick Rollins, because I wonder if Rollins would be in the Rumble if he's still World Heavyweight Champion, because he'd probably have a championship match. Probably wouldn't even be in there, but maybe he would want to be able to go after Roman, because that seems like a big feat to conquer. Even if you're World Heavyweight Champion, to go to WrestleMania and try and defeat the guy who's not been beaten 3 years, I guess. And But I don't know. Last night really killed it for me a little bit. I didn't think it was definitely the moment that I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to light Nashville on fire, and it seemed like it got extinguished pretty fast. I'm not going to say that they can't build it back up, but I think people are going to need a reason to get excited. And as of right now, we've seen the return, and we're going to have to see where we go from here and what, you know, Punk's going to do. I think people, let's tell the truth. Punk is the leader of three-man band. I think people are buying the shirts, but I think they just want a reason to get excited. All right, peace out.